Good morning, dear students. I am an English teacher, Department of Foreign Language in Humanities. You know, the coronavirus is spreading around the world, so it is the best way to stay at home and study at a distance. Today we have a new topic. Before starting a new lesson, I have some questions for you. Look at the pictures. The first question is, do you recognize people in the pictures? Second one, what are their contributions to the development of science and human development? Third one, whose photos could also be placed among them? Fourth one, what is needed from a person to reach this level of brilliance? So, Alisher Nava'i was born in Herat. He is a great poet, statesman, and founder of Uzbek literature. His works covered an entire epoch in the history of literature. Alisher Nava'i wrote mostly in the Uzbek language. He was well known as a great poet and literary scholar. His important work is the Khamsa. It consists of poems Hayratul Abror, Farhad and Shirin, Layli and Majnun, Seven Planets, and Sadi Iskandari. They have been translated into many languages. His works have entered the treasure of world literature. Next person is Einstein. Was born at Germany. His research are well chronicled and his more important works include spatial theory of relativity, general theory of relativity, investigations on the theory of Brownian movements, the evolution of physics. Among his non-scientific works about Zionism, Why War, My Philosophy. Next person is Isaac Newton. Was an English mathematic, physic, astronomer, and author who is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time, and as a key figure in the scientific revolution. Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation that formed the dominant scientific viewpoint until it was superseded by the theory of relativity. Next person, Alfred Nobel, was a Swedish chemist, engineer, inventor, businessman, and philanthropist. He held 355 different patents, dynamite being the most famous. The synthetic element nobelium was named after him. Next person, Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was an American inventor and businessman who has been described as America's greatest inventor. He developed many devices in fields such as electrical power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion pictures. These inventions, which include the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and long-lasting electrical light bulb, have had a widespread impact on the modern industrial world. Next person, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political essayist who employed nonviolent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule, and in turn inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. He was a prolific writer. One of the Gandhi's earliest publications, Hind Swaraj, published in Gujarati in 1909, For decades, he edited several newspapers, including Harijan in Gujarati, in Hindi, and in the English language. He wrote several books, including his autobiography, The Story of My Experiment with Truth, Gandhi's complete works. So, as you find, today we will talk about great famous people. Our new topic is immortal tracks. In this lesson, you have several tasks. It's time for the first one. In the first activity, you should match two halves of expressions. And you have 5 minutes for fulfilling this task. So I'll tell answers. First one, prestigious prize. Second one, initial shock. Third one, accidental invention. Next one, solid block. Fifth one, cassette raise. Sixth one, people's lifestyle. So you have a listening type. Listen to the tape and fill in the topic.
Lesson 11. Immortal Tracks.
Hello, Donna. Where are you going?
Hi, Rustam. I'm going to the library. I'm to find the information about the scientists and their great works.
Oh, I have some information about them. If you want, I can give you.
Oh, that would be great. Do you have them with you?
Yes, in my computer. Let's sit over there and I will show you.
Okay.
Here is... Do you know who's Alfred Bernhard Nobel?
Nothing more than Nobel Prize.
Yes, the prestigious Nobel Prize is named after him. He invented dynamite in 1867 and it was accidental invention. Nitroglycerine was becoming a widely produced explosive material at the time, largely due to the fact that it was far more powerful than its predecessor, gunpowder. But the problem was that nitroglycerine was unstable and it regularly blew up people and buildings without warning. Like many at the time, Nobel realized that nitroglycerine would be a lot more useful if they could only find a way to make it, not explode randomly. While working in a lab with a vial of nitroglycerine, the vial slipped out of his hand and hit the ground. After recovering from the initial shock and surprise that he hadn't been blown to bits, Nobel soon realized that he owed his life to the sawdust on the ground where the vial had landed, which absorbed the liquid when it hit the ground.
Oh, I didn't know about it. Let's see who is the next scientist with his invention that changed the people's lifestyle.
John Walker. Do you know him?
Oh, to tell the truth, I don't know him.
Well, he's an English pharmacist. In 1827, he invented the matches. He noticed that the stick he'd been using to stir the pot of chemicals had a dried lump on one end. Instinctively, Walker tried to scrape the substance off the end of the stick. Although not containing phosphorus, the mixture of antimony sulfide, potassium chlorate, gum, and starch was reactive enough that when he dragged it across the floor, the stick burst into flame. And the next one is John Stith Pemberton.
Oh, I guess I know him. He's the inventor of Coca-Cola. In 1886, he relied on Atlanta druggists to test and help him perfect to recipe for the beverage, which he formulated by trial and error. With the help of druggists, he worked out a set of directions for its preparation that eventually included blending the base syrup with carbonated water by accident when trying to make another glass.
Yes, you know him. What about Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen? Have you heard about him before?
Yeah, he's the scientist who dealt with X-rays.
In 1895, when he was performing an experiment using cathode rays, he realized that some fluorescent cardboards across the room was lighting up in spite of the fact that there was a thick block between the cathode ray and the cardboard. The only explanation was that light rays were actually passing through the solid block.
And nowadays it's used as widely in medicine as penicillin. Do you know the inventor of it?
No. And who's he?
Sir Albert Fleming. In 1928, Fleming noticed a petri dish containing Staphylococcus plate culture he mistakenly left open was contaminated by blue-green mold, which formed a visible growth. Fleming concluded the mold released a substance that repressed the growth and lying the bacteria. He grew a poor culture and discovered it was a penicillin mold.
Our daily lives are governed by inventions. From what we wear to the food we eat and our methods of travel, it's all been invented or significantly altered by invention.
Yes, and sometimes an invention comes along that doesn't just change the way we do things, but change the world. Thank you, Rustam, for your help.
Not at all. Now I have to go.
So, you have an answer on your screen. So the next exercise is about immortal tracks. Put the sentences into the correct order. You should put sentences into the correct order. You have 5 minutes. So, first one C, second one B, third one E, fourth one A, fifth one D, last one is F. So, first one C, the only explanation was the light rays were passing the solid block. Second one is B. Nobel realized the nitroglycerin would be a lot more useful in the could only find the way to make it. Third one, E. In 1886, he relied on Atlanta druggists to test and help him perfect recipe for the beverage, which he formulated by trial and error. Fourth one, A. When he dragged it across the floor, the stick burst into flame. 5.1. D. I should find the information about the scientists and their great works. 6.1. F. Fleming concluded that the mold released a substance that repressed the growth and lying the bacteria. So, our next test, you have some tests according to the topic. Find out the person, then identify which quarter belong to this person. one is Thomas Edison. A1. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how thus they were to success when they gave up. Next one. Second one. B. Dalai Lama. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Third one. Walt Disney. A. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Next one. Confucius. B1. It does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you don't stop. Fifth one is C. Albert Einstein. Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value. So students, now it is time for home task. At home, you will write an essay. The question for the essay: do you know any world-known inventions of the past centuries which are still in use? Who are the inventors? Thank you for your attention and participation. So, students, thank you for your participation and for your attention. Goodbye.